Hey guys, Paul from Ashen. It is new comic book day for the week of February 17th. We're getting started right now. This episode brought to you by the comic book store, 30 North Main Street, North Glassboro. There is no North Glassboro. 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey, 08028. Come buy some comics. Because that's what you do at a comic book store.
Hey guys, it's Tim! I'm Tim. From Capes and Scowls and Team Ashen and the comic book store and 65 other places. Where have you seen me lately? It's like, where's Waldo? But, I don't know, less rewarding. Let's talk about some trades. We've got Scene of the Crime. This is an old Brubaker. Back in print. I think it's from like 10 years ago. Yes, finally back in print after more than a decade. Thank you. I don't know which one this is. I assume it ties into the criminal universe. They're all good. I've never read a criminal thing that I didn't like. So, Brubaker with Sean Phillips, always good. So, you have that. We have Wonder Woman, Book 2, Ares Rising. This is your 80s into the 90s. This is actually the 90s. But it's from that 80s Perez run. It's from that run. Yeah, some cool Wonder Woman stuff. I don't know specifically which story, but there's good Wonder Woman in that era. Sandman Universe presents Books of Magic. There's magic. This is volume 3. I don't know much about it, but there is a tree with a mustache, and I'm down with that. Paul, you down with trees with a mustache?
Yes.
No reason not to, right?
I don't know.
I would take some advice from a tree with a mustache. The knowledge. It's great.
What if it's an evil mustache?
Even better. Now I get evil arts. Evil knowledge. I'm all about it. Trees. Get at me. Hellblazer. This is volume 24. Man, I wish I collected all this from the beginning and just had all these awesome volumes on my bookcase, but I'm not that cool. Sorry. But you're that cool, so here's volume 24 for you. Daredevil. Volume 5. This is the Zdarsky run, as I can't even talk. This run's great. This features issue 25, which I believe was the red hot issue. So definitely check that out. Daredevil's been great. Zdarsky always great. Whether he's silly Zdarsky or serious Zdarsky. Dawn of X, Volume 13. Please stop making things like this. I can only say it so many times. This is the 13th time I said it. I hate books like this. I don't even know who I'm pleading to, but somebody help me. Zdarsky, you hate this, right? He's not watching.
Like, I like X-Men books, and that irritates me.
I think it's obnoxious, and it doesn't read well.
They're not together. The stories don't. They're not together.
Look, you got Paul going. Zdarsky, help. The Devil's Highway, Volume 1. This is from AWA. I did not read this, but I really like AWA books. This is from Benjamin Percy, who has done some Wolverine. So, probably amazing. And then finally, we have a hardcover of Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. This is issues 9 through 12 of the miniseries. We read issue 1 and maybe 2 of this, and it kind of fills in some of the gaps between the movie and this series. If you love Dark Crystal, it's a must.
All right, first up, we have X-Men Legends issue number 1. This was chock full of just excellent 90s goodness. I mean, the art, Brett Booth, tends to borrow heavily from Andy Kubert and Jim Lee and all that kind of stuff, so he's the perfect artist to draw something like this. The art was spectacular in this book. But was it a good story? I don't know. It's not more that it wasn't a good story. It's just, do we need this story? Do we care? It seems to be the issue with a lot of books right now, where it's like, was it a good story? Yeah. Was it needed? No. So it's up to you. If you're a huge X-Men fan, if you thirst for that 90s nostalgia, this book is going to be right up your alley. If not, skip.
All right, everybody. First up from Vault Comics. Do you know I love Vault Comics? I thought you should know that.
I didn't.
I do.
Okay.
I've enjoyed them. I like a lot of these companies, but let's talk about Vault since this is their book. This is Hollow Heart, Chapter 1, Tether. This is a weird book and a very thought-provoking book. It is about a humanoid creature that is shoved into a robot and forced to live. And I assume it's some sort of soldier or it's awful. Once you realize that this thing can feel pain and has emotion, it is awful. And essentially what happens is there's a character who is a mechanic who gets near the creature, the human. I don't even know what it's supposed to be. It's got like a shriveled skull kind of face inside a robot suit. It's got organs around circuitry. This is a very awesome premise. It's sad and it's pretty deep. So if you want something a little different, this is absolutely it. I don't even know. I don't know what to make of it. This is a really cool read, though. If you want something different, please read it.
What is my next book? It is Batman Catwoman, issue number 4. This is a good, slow, smolder book. Again, we are skipping between the 3 timelines here. They have... Spoiler? It's based on the issue, based on what has happened on the last issue. You have an assumption of what had happened in the last issue. You now have confirmed that is exactly what happened. It's the best way to describe that. And you're starting to see some of the fallout of that while you are getting filled in on why these events are unfolding in the direction that they are. This is a beautifully drawn book. Tom King's art style, or Tom King's writing style, is spectacular in this. Not my number 1 though. So I mean, yeah. I mean, still pick up this book. This book is amazing. This is a fun read. You should grab it.
All right, next up, it's more Vault Comics. I did mention I love Vault Comics, right?
You did.
So this is The Picture of Everything Else, issue 2. If you recall, issue 1, I reviewed it and I loved it. More of the same. This is really cool. So the basic premise, if you didn't see my review of issue 1, is 2 guys, it's like the early 1900s, and they're an item, which is kind of unheard of, I guess, as far as being spoken of in that time. And they're both artists, they're painters. And one of them ends up seeing a murder, witnessing some grisly stuff. There's another man who can paint as well, and what he paints, if he sets it on fire, whatever he painted a picture of is on fire. If he rips it in half, a person will just rip in half and blood everywhere. It's pretty gruesome and awesome. This book continues that story. Those 2 men have gone their separate ways, and now they're finding, through scenarios, their way back to each other. Do they even want to meet? What is going on? One of them has become an evil apprentice of sorts to that painter, and things are going to get weird. I love the art in this. It actually has a watercolor style at times. This book is definitely something you should check out, so please do. You're only 1 behind, so go get that issue 1 if you didn't listen to me before, you stupid idiot. And get issue 2, and you'll be great.
What is my pick of the week? It is Haha, issue number 2. As I said in the first time I read this book's messed up. This book is messed up on a spectacular level. The difference between Haha issue number 1 and number 2, these are all one-off series, one-off issues. This one, for me, the art was much more digestible. The other one was way more abstract, way weirder, that kind of made it a little bit more distracting, whereas this is much more of a comic style art that you would expect. But the story is no less messed up. This takes place with a girl named Rudolph, who obviously is a clown. But the childhood trauma in this is rough. I will trigger warning on this. I mean, if that is something that you're not comfortable with reading in a comic, this is probably not going to be something for you, because it's a little bit rough to digest. But it's a spectacular read. This is actually coming out to become one of the weirder books that I've read that is really, really enjoyable to pick up. Yeah, I actually want more. I wasn't sure I wanted more after Haha issue number 1, but I actually want more of this. So we'll see what happens in the next issue. It's a mime, so I don't know. It could be weird. I get a feeling like we're going to get an issue with like no dialogue whatsoever. We'll see. But this one was awesome. Definitely pick it up.
All right, it's time for my pick of the week. Paul, what's my pick of the week? You do know.
I don't.
You know.
Oh, okay. I do actually do know this.
Yeah, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, issue 2. My only gripe of this book is it's shaped weird. It fits in a golden bag, but it's too tall. IDW, what the hell? But other than that, this book's amazing. This is a little bit of a flashback at the beginning, and then it goes into the current time frame. If you've somehow not read issue 1 by now, with all the delay in between and whatnot, sorry for spoiling that the last Ronin is Michelangelo, and you are finding out how he is the last one. You find out who is the first to fall, and that is a very interesting storyline, and the situation that leads up to it. And it really just makes a lot of sense really quickly. You get to find out a little bit of what happened to Michelangelo after everything went to hell, essentially. The art changes. It's very Kevin Eastman-y, which is great. I assume he did some of the stuff, him or Laird or both, whatever. I didn't read that well. Haha. But the book's great. Check it out. If you like turtles, the book's great. And violent. Oh my god, violent. There's a lot of violence in this. And it's really violent, kids. You're going to love it. Because Raphael. Anyways, see you guys later. Alright, thank you everybody for making it to the end of the video. Paul thanks you deeply from the bottom of his heart.
I do.
I thank you from a reasonable place inside my heart. I don't dig deep. And
It's still pretty good for you.
yeah, I mean, it's there. And Paul is on Twitch. If you want to see him Twitch on some sort of streaming device, he does it. And I have the podcast, so go rate and review. That would make me happy, because that would help me. If you don't want to help me, I understand. I wouldn't help me either. Just a guy watching a YouTube review video. It's as far as it goes. I don't want to comment on it neither. I understand. I don't want to do it. It's the truth. I'm not mad at you. Just see you next week.